On an early autumn day, with the first rays of sunlight filtering through the glass facades of a cutting-edge research complex in California, Elon Musk had long been planning his next breakthrough in space technology. His office was located on the top floor of a skyscraper in San Francisco, where floor-to-ceiling windows opened up to a bustling cityscape and the endless field of possibilities that permeates the spirit of American entrepreneurship. It was here, amid a seething stream of innovative ideas and ambitious projects, that a story unfolded that could upend the usual notion of the boundaries of the human mind. Elon was sitting at a massive desk covered with blueprints, technical diagrams, and electronic devices when there was a knock at the door. Nothing seemed to foreshadow changes, but an unusual atmosphere was already in the hallway. Employees accustomed to a constant stream of urgent calls and endless meetings exchanged mysterious glances and quiet whispers. Someone said that a certain seer was supposed to appear in the office today, capable of warning of the impending catastrophe. Less than 10 minutes later, the door to the office opened and a little girl of about 9 walked in, dressed in simple but neat clothes. Her large eyes shone with a confident gleam, and her erect gait betrayed a determination that clearly exceeded her age. On her wrists were bracelets decorated with simple symbols, but each one seemed to be an amulet, bringing good luck and strength. The girl, who introduced herself as Emily Wilson, did not hesitate for a moment and, approaching Elon, said in a calm, confident voice, "Mr. Musk, I have a warning that you cannot ignore." Emily's words came as a bolt from the blue. For a few seconds, time seemed to stand still. Elon, accustomed to unexpected challenges in the world of high technology, felt for the first time that this was not just a child in front of him, but a real messenger from the future. Elon's gaze, full of both surprise and bewilderment, touched every nerve of his being. He gently motioned for the girl to sit down across from him at the table and invited her to tell him more. At that moment, an unusual silence reigned in the office, as if the whole world had frozen, waiting for revelations. Emily began to explain that, in her opinion, one of the company's key projects, related to the development of a new type of interplanetary ship, Aurora X, contains a critical error in the software of the navigation system. According to her, this defect could lead to the ship losing control during launch and crashing, which would be a catastrophic event not only for the company, but for the entire global space industry. The girl's voice sounded firm and confident, although she was barely 9 years old. She cited technical details that an experienced engineer could tell, and pointed to drawings prepared in advance on an old laptop, which seemed to become a window into the world of complex technologies for her. Elon Musk, a man who was used to not being afraid of challenges and always open to new ideas, was slightly perplexed at first. But, listening to the detailed and convincing explanation, he felt a spark of curiosity light up in his head. He remembered how in his youth he himself dreamed of new technologies and how important were the moments when intuition told him something that seemed impossible. Now, with the small but determined Emily standing in front of him, he could not help but listen to her words. As Elon asked follow-up questions, the office staff gathered around, and a sense of impending change hung in the air. The key moment in the girl's story was when she described how she had discovered an anomaly in one of the algorithms responsible for adjusting the ship's course. Emily explained that the problem was an incompatibility between two software modules, which could result in a cascade of errors during a critical maneuver. This technical detail, seemingly insignificant, took on the proportions of a life-changing mystery in her mouth, one that could change the future of space exploration. Elon, looking at the monitors already set up to demonstrate the latest developments, felt his heart begin to beat faster. He ordered the team to immediately begin analyzing the data presented, while carefully studying each slide that Emily showed. At that moment, a sense of unity and common purpose arose within the huge complex, the desire to prevent the impending catastrophe and ensure the safety of future missions. Every engineer, developer, and specialist understood that if the girl's warning turned out to be true, the world of technology could be on the verge of large-scale changes. At the same time, memories of his own mistakes and trials flashed through Elon's mind, when one failure could cost multi-billion investments and even people's lives. He remembered how he once almost lost control of the situation, and how he later realized that it was intuition and timely intervention that could save the situation. Now, sitting at his desk and watching a real dramatic performance unfold in his office, Elon felt like a participant in something truly great. He could not help but notice that little Emily had a rare gift, the ability to see the essence of a problem where experienced specialists saw only a complex mosaic of technical details. A sense of mounting responsibility overwhelmed Elon. He realized that perhaps the fate of the Aurora X spacecraft depended on this young genius who, despite her young age, had deep knowledge of programming and algorithms. Trusting his instincts, Elon made a decision that would change not only the course of development, but also his personal perception of the world of technology. He quietly said, "Emily, I want you to stay with us and help us figure this out. Your help could be decisive." Thus began a journey that would bring incredible changes to the company, as well as to the lives of everyone involved. At that moment, the office was filled with an atmosphere of hope and anticipation, when everyone present understood that at stake was not just another project, but a future where the boundaries of the possible are pushed beyond recognition. It was here, in the heart of technological progress, between the ringing of phones, the flickering of screens, and the quiet hum of servers, that a new legend was born. A legend about how one young voice was able to awaken a genius and change the course of history. After the first amazing morning meeting in Elon Musk's office, where young Emily Wilson announced a critical error in the navigation system of the new spacecraft, Aurora X, the company was filled with not only mild uncertainty, but also wild excitement. Emily's ideas awakened a passion for experimentation and a desire to find the true answer in the team. Each employee, from engineers to software developers, immersed themselves in data analysis, checking their calculations against the girl's intuition, which had already managed to win the trust of Elon himself. The next day, a few hours after Emily left Elon's office, an emergency meeting was held in the company's main conference room. The walls of the modern space, decorated with digital screens and charts, seemed to reflect the pulsating energy of innovation. Elon, seated at the main table, listened intently to the reports of the leading experts. Each report was filled with technical details, analysis of potential failures, and recommendations for optimizing the program code. But despite the rigor of the technical information, there was a certain magic to the discussions, a rare combination of experience and the fresh perspective of a young genius that promised to upend established approaches. "We have to look at every word Emily said," Elon began, addressing the crowd. "If her calculations and methodology are supported by our data, we will have to radically rethink some stages of development. In a world where every second and every bit of information counts, we cannot afford to make a mistake." The meeting focused on the idea of redesigning the course correction algorithm designed to automatically control the ship. Despite her tender age, Emily had convincingly demonstrated how a minor incompatibility between two software modules could trigger a chain of critical errors. The team, accustomed to working with strict methodologies, began to doubt whether previous checks had really accounted for all possible scenarios. This shift in perception of traditional methods inspired the engineers to develop a new strategy that would provide reserves for even the most unforeseen situations. Over the next few days, Elon Musk's office became a testing ground, where every idea was put through a series of simulations and experimental tests. The company's labs hummed with servers, and computer screens flashed with blueprints, algorithms, and calculations. A team of engineers, led by the company's top specialists, worked tirelessly to analyze every module of the system. They studied every line of code, identifying even the smallest discrepancies that could cause a catastrophe. This process actively used the latest machine learning and simulation methods to predict the behavior of the system under any conditions. Elon watched the team's work with genuine interest. He understood that not only the success of the space mission was at stake, but also the future of the company, whose reputation had always been associated with advanced technologies and breakthrough ideas. That is why he decided to personally monitor the progress of the work, paying attention not only to technical aspects, but also to the motivation of the team. It was important for Elon that each employee felt involved in a great goal, even if this meant revising established ideas about what was possible. Meanwhile, Emily, now the center of attention at the company, continued her work with the help of her mentors. She conducted additional experiments, selected alternative algorithms, and discussed with experts the possibility of implementing new methods of data analysis. Despite the fact that her technical knowledge was self-taught, the young genius demonstrated the ability to quickly master complex concepts, which made senior engineers admire her intuition and analytical thinking. The company began to discuss the possibility of creating a special department dedicated to finding and implementing innovative ideas, in which Emily could take a key position. But not everything went smoothly. As interest in the project grew, so did the number of questions from the board of directors, who were used to working according to classic schemes and were not ready for such radical changes. Some board members, with the air of old-fashioned skeptics, expressed concerns. "We cannot trust children's instincts," said one of them. "Every mistake can cost a lot." These words found an echo among some employees whose views were formed by years of experience and who feared that too much attention to innovation could undermine the stability of the company. It was at this point that Elon, clear-eyed and voice firm, spoke up to the room. "We live in an era where conventional frameworks are no longer sufficient to solve big problems. Innovation requires courage, and courage sometimes requires young talent. We have a responsibility to explore all possibilities, and if Emily can point to a problem, then there is a problem." His words sounded like a challenge to established dogma, and the room erupted in applause. It was a defining moment. Elon's decision set a new course, uniting the team around the idea of finding optimal solutions. In the following days, work on updating the navigation system became a real marathon of ideas and experiments. Every morning began with a brainstorming session, where the company's employees freely exchanged thoughts, discussed possible scenarios, and tested new approaches. In the process, unexpected ideas arose that seemed to be born at the intersection of scientific thought and creative inspiration. Elon personally participated in the discussions, emphasizing that it was important not only to find a mistake, but also to learn lessons for the future development of technologies. Along with the technical testing, a new project management philosophy began to take shape in the company. Inspired by the success of the first stage, employees began to see innovation not only as a means to achieve goals, but also as a way of life. They understood that in a world where the boundaries of the possible are constantly blurring, it is necessary to be able to listen to even the most unexpected voices, regardless of their age or experience. That is how the idea of creating an interactive platform where each employee could offer their ideas for improving the system arose among technical specialists. This initiative quickly gained popularity, and soon the platform became a real hub for innovation within the company. But beyond the technical aspects, new personal dramas emerged. Several senior engineers, accustomed to working to strict standards, felt the pressure of change. Some of them were experiencing internal conflicts, not knowing how to combine traditional methods with the new approach proposed by Emily. One evening, when the office was almost empty, Elon stayed late to personally talk to several doubters. He sat in a spacious office, filled with soft light, and told about his first steps in the world of technology, about how he had to deal with misunderstanding and skepticism. His story of overcoming difficulties and constant striving for perfection inspired not only young employees, but also those who had worked at the company for many years. "Every mistake is a lesson," he said, "and every idea, even if it seems strange, can be the beginning of a new era. We cannot afford to close ourselves to innovation." At that moment, employees entered the office, discussing the latest news from the experimental site. They brought fresh data and the results of testing the updated system. In the dynamics and tension of the experiments, the first positive results were being achieved. The algorithm, which had previously failed, was now working stably, demonstrating amazing efficiency. Statistics showed that the probability of an error had decreased to minimal values, and the system responded faster even in extreme conditions. This victory became a symbol of the fact that an innovative approach can overcome established barriers and become the key to new achievements. Meanwhile, Emily continued her work, remaining behind the scenes but regularly visiting the labs and consulting with specialists. Her questions and comments sometimes led to unexpected discoveries that allowed every detail of the development to be double-checked. Small but determined, she became a bridge between the worlds of experience and fresh intuition, uniting them into a single whole. It was her presence that reminded everyone that innovation is born where there is genuine curiosity and a willingness to take risks. That evening, after much discussion and experimentation, Elon held an informal meeting with the team. In a cozy lounge room, where the soft light of the lamps created an atmosphere of trust and calm, the employees shared their thoughts and impressions. The roundtable discussion touched not only on technical details, but also on the life principles that underlie innovation. Everyone shared their doubts, joys, and even fears about the future. Elon listened to everyone with interest, understanding that it is openness and honesty that can create the very culture in which real breakthroughs are born. Toward the end of the evening, as the conversations became more personal, one senior engineer admitted that he was afraid that the new methods would lead to the destruction of the established system of work. But his colleagues supported him, reminding him that any change is always associated with risk, and only through experimentation can we achieve excellence. "We have to be prepared for the fact that the road to success will not always be smooth," Elon said. but it is through testing that we learn what we are capable of. The night brought silence and thoughtfulness. As the last lights in the office began to dim, Elon was alone in his office, reflecting on the day. He knew there were still many challenges ahead, and that every innovation required not only technical implementation, but also human involvement, a willingness to change and learn. The thought that one small childish idea could save billions of dollars in investment and change the future of space exploration filled him with a thrill of excitement. And as Elon looked out the window at the twinkling lights of the city at night, he felt that their mission was just beginning. Thus ended another eventful day, full of discoveries and challenges. The changes brought by the innovative spirit already promised to be the beginning of a new era in the development of space technologies. Emily, Elon, and the whole team knew that the road to perfection is long and difficult, but it is this road that leads to a future in which the boundaries of the possible cease to exist. And at that moment, in the silence of the night office, confidence was born. Together they can overcome any obstacles, creating technologies that can change the world forever. As the new day dawned, the company's office was filled with fresh energy, and the air was filled with anticipation of change. The desks of engineers and developers continued to flicker with diagrams and drawings reflecting new ideas and experimental solutions aimed at optimizing the navigation system of the Aurora X spacecraft. The focus was not only on the technological breakthrough, but also on the personal story intertwining the destinies of people for whom innovation had become the meaning of life. Elon Musk, sitting at his desk in a spacious office overlooking the San Francisco skyline, understood that this could be a decisive day for the future of the company and, perhaps, for the entire space industry. After a rich discussion yesterday, where the techies enthusiastically discussed the nuances of the algorithm, Elon decided to hold one-on-one meetings with key employees. He understood that the company's true strength was not only in its cutting-edge technology, but also in the unity of the team, which, despite disagreements, is able to find a way out of the most difficult situations. One of these employees was Alex Rivers, a leading software engineer whose years of experience and deep knowledge had become a bulwark of traditional methods of work. However, even he could not deny that young Emily's fresh perspective was an impetus for finding new solutions. Alex, Elon began, I know that your team has been following proven algorithms for a long time, but now we have to take a step into the unknown. We must be ready to reconsider everything, from the smallest details to the global architecture of the system. Do not be afraid of new ideas. They are the ones that can open the way to revolutionary changes. Elon's words sounded confident and encouraging, and looking into the eyes of his colleague, he saw not only doubts, but also a desire to return to the roots, when technologies were still the first steps in space exploration. Meanwhile, in one of the modern conference rooms, where the walls were decorated with paintings inspired by space landscapes, a meeting was held with members of the board of directors. These people, accustomed to proven methods and conservative strategies, expressed deep concern about sudden changes. We can't afford to take risks, one of the directors insisted. Too much is at stake, and any wrong decision can have fatal consequences. But Elon was not about to give in to doubt. He knew that it is through testing and risk that breakthrough ideas are born, ones that can change not only the company, but the entire industry. The meeting saw heated debates. One director proposed to stop all experiments until more results were obtained, while the other, less conservative, supported the idea of further research. Elon, listening carefully to both sides' arguments, understood that his decision had to be balanced and meaningful. At the same time, he received a message from Emily, who was in the lab where the updated algorithm was being tested. She reported that a new anomaly had been detected at one of the stages of the simulations, which could affect the stability of the system in extreme temperatures. This news did not come as a surprise to Elon, because the path of innovation is rarely cloudless. He immediately made a decision. It was necessary to organize an unscheduled meeting between software specialists, heating engineers, and analysts. In a room equipped with modern multimedia systems, a motley team gathered, ready to discuss the problem found. A diagram was shown on a large screen, where every line and every number mattered. Everyone's attention was riveted on the details that Emily managed to find, and each engineer tried to offer his vision of the solution. In the midst of the discussion, Elon Musk drew attention to the critical importance of not just fixing the error, but understanding its underlying causes. He proposed introducing an additional control system capable of monitoring the behavior of all software modules in real time and promptly responding to any deviations. This idea, voiced with characteristic Elon determination, caused a storm of approval among the young specialists, who, with sincere admiration, looked at each other, realizing that their voice was now heard at the highest level. However, alongside the technical debates, personal dramas and internal conflicts began to mount in the corporate space. Some employees, accustomed to classical methods and strict regulations, felt the pressure of change. Among them was Alex Rivers himself, who, despite all his talents, felt that his previous experience could be challenged by new experimental methods. In the warm atmosphere of the room where fateful ideas were discussed, Alex quietly admitted that in his soul he felt a fear that traditional methods might not be flexible enough to solve modern problems. His words, spoken in a confidential conversation with Elon, were filled with personal pain and at the same time a challenge to new technologies. Elon, understanding the complexity of the situation, did not condemn his colleague, but on the contrary, tried to find a compromise. "Alex," he said softly, "every new approach requires adaptation and time. But it is in finding a balance between the traditional and the innovative that our success lies. We do not reject the experience of the past, we only strive to use it in new conditions." His words became a real bridge between generations, reminding everyone present that science and technology are a constant movement forward, based on respect for experience and the desire for perfection. Against the backdrop of these intense discussions, a new culture of collaboration began to emerge within the company. In the labs, employees conducted joint experiments, combining the experience and fresh perspective of young specialists. For example, in one of the experimental zones, a group of engineers led by Emily tested innovative methods for diagnosing the system under extreme loads. Every step, every new measurement was recorded using modern sensors and analytical programs, and the results were discussed in detail. Emily, despite her youth, demonstrated an amazing understanding of the intricacies of the equipment, and her suggestions found a response even among the most skeptical colleagues. One of these experiments became a turning point. During testing, the new monitoring system was able to detect critical overheating of one of the ship's units in time, which allowed the operating parameters to be quickly adjusted and a potential accident to be avoided. This success not only confirmed the young genius's rightness, but also became a symbol of the fact that innovations can save even in the most difficult moments. After the experiment was completed, an atmosphere of triumph hung in the lab. Engineers hugged, exchanged congratulations and enthusiastic glances, and Elon proudly watched his team unite around a common goal. In the evening, after a busy day at work, the office hosted an informal dinner to celebrate the first successes in solving problems. In a spacious room decorated with photographs of historical space launches and modern art installations, employees shared stories of their first steps in science and talked about those moments when their faith in technology helped them overcome difficulties. The atmosphere was filled with warmth, sincerity, and a sense of community, and Elon, sitting at the main table, listened attentively to everyone. He understood that it is the human factor, trust, inspiration, and teamwork that are the main components of the success of any innovative company. During the dinner, Elon focused not only on the technical achievements but also on the personal experiences of each employee. He asked questions about how people cope with the pressures of change, how they find the strength to be creative, and what dreams drive them. One of the young engineers shared that he was inspired by the idea that right now they are creating a future in which technology will become an integral part of everyone's lives. His words caused a storm of applause, and in that moment, Elon felt that their mission took on a special meaning, not just a technical breakthrough, but a change in the way we perceive the world. As night slowly fell over the city, Elon's thoughts returned to the day that had just passed. He reflected on the importance of being able to listen to even the most unexpected voices, whether it was an experienced engineer or a young talent who was just starting out. A picture of the future was emerging in his mind, where technology and human aspirations intertwined in a single dance leading to new horizons. In the silence of his office, Elon wrote notes, recording ideas that could become the basis for the next stages of development. He knew that there were still many challenges ahead, but with each passing day, his confidence in success grew. That evening became a turning point for the company. United by common goals, the employees realized that, despite all the difficulties, it is courage, innovation, and mutual support that can overcome any barriers. A sense of mission was born in their hearts, where every step, every idea, and every small victory mattered for the great common goal. And Elon Musk, standing on the threshold of a new day, felt that their path was just beginning, and the future was already beckoning them with its limitless possibilities. The morning began with gray skies over the city, when in the company building, Located in the tech hub of Silicon Valley, the air was filled with a sense of impending change. In the offices where confidence and stability once reigned, a slight tension hung in the air, as if an invisible force was preparing the team for trials that could forever change the course of history. Elon Musk, who has become a symbol of technological progress, greeted the new day with his usual determination, but a shadow of anxiety was already shining in his eyes. After all, past days have shown that innovation is not only inspiration and success, but also the risk of betrayal, deception, and destruction of the established order. Last night, after a busy day of work, when the team was celebrating the first successes of the updated navigation system, an alarming message came from the Information Security Department. Several anonymous sources reported that the software on which the best minds of the company were working had been injected with code that clearly did not comply with internal standards. This fact, at first glance insignificant, could indicate a secret sabotage aimed at undermining the work of the entire project. Elon could not believe that one of his trusted employees could act so risky, but the need to check every little thing forced him to use all resources to investigate. During the first hours of the day, Elon called an emergency meeting in the main conference room, gathering as many of the technical and legal teams as possible. The faces of the employees were filled with anxiety and confusion, and the screens displayed complex graphs showing anomalies in the system. "We have a serious threat," Elon began, his voice calm but firm. "Our job today is to figure out how and why a foreign element was introduced into the code that could have catastrophic consequences." The panelists' voices alternated with quiet conversations as experts tried to piece together the chain of events. The cybersecurity specialist on duty, Mark Hunt, presented data collected over the past 24 hours. He explained that an undocumented piece of code had been inserted into a system update via remote access. This indicated that the intervention had come from outside, possibly via a compromised device belonging to an employee. But how could internal protocols not have detected this leak early in testing? The answer to this question was extremely complex and required detailed analysis. Amid the technical analysis, a personal drama was unfolding. Alex Rivers, the lead engineer whom Elon had previously personally convinced to embrace new methods, now looked depressed and thoughtful. His gaze suggested that old beliefs and new doubts were battling inside him. In the quiet of one of the hallways, Alex met Emily, who had long been a symbol of innovation in the company. The girl, still confident and decisive, said quietly, "I feel like someone is trying to distort our work. This is not just a mistake, this is deliberate interference." Her words echoed through the halls of the complex, raising questions and suspicions. Elon, watching this scene, remembered the times when his own ideas had been harshly criticized and attacked. But now he realized that betrayal could come not only from the outside world, but also from within, from those he considered his closest allies. Deciding that there was no time to waste, he ordered an immediate audit of all systems and connections to isolate the source of the threat. At the same time, a new message came into the cybersecurity department. Emails between two employees who had previously worked for the company indicated possible cooperation with competitors. This data became the first major piece of evidence indicating that a dangerous conspiracy was brewing within the team. The situation became more acute when it emerged that one of the key figures in the project, a talented programmer named Richard Mason, had been visiting the offices of competing companies on numerous occasions in recent months. His contacts with representatives of another corporation specializing in aerospace technology suggested that he might be passing on classified information. Although Richard had been one of the most loyal employees up to this point, his name was now at the center of the investigation. Elon understood that every word and detail mattered. He personally spent several hours in a close circle of trusted people, listening to opinions and suggestions on how best to secure the project and identify the culprits. Throughout the day, additional checks, experiments, and tests were conducted to track down any suspicious changes to the software. As a result, it was discovered that the code injected into the system had clear characteristics of not only an external hack, but also internal sabotage. This evidence reinforced suspicions that people familiar with the intricacies of the company were behind this. In parallel with the investigation, Emily continued her work in the lab, unaware of the depth and danger of the intrigues that had unfolded around the project. For her, every experiment was an opportunity to prove her case. Every test was a chance to further develop innovative ideas. She calmly recorded the results, compiled detailed reports, and even began keeping a personal diary in which she described her observations and thoughts about the future of technology. Her determination and faith in the success of the project inspired many, but this time she was responsible not only for a technological breakthrough, but also for the preservation of an entire idea that could change the world. That evening, as the offices began to empty, Elon remained in his office, surrounded by multiple monitors flashing with codes, graphs, and audit results. He understood that at stake were not just technical achievements, but the fate of the company, the trust of partners, and perhaps the future of the entire aerospace industry. His thoughts were full of anxiety and determination, and in his heart he felt the weight of betrayal that could come from the most unexpected sources. Suddenly, Maggie, the head of HR, walked into the office, her face usually expressing strictness and professionalism, but now it was clouded with anxiety. She handed Elon an envelope found in one of the company's archives, which contained correspondence between Richard Mason and a representative of a competing company. The letters talked about the possibility of gaining access to closed project data in exchange for promises of future benefits. These documents were the last straw for Elon, who now understood that betrayal had penetrated deep into the team and urgent action was needed. Elon, without wasting a minute, called an emergency meeting with the leadership of all departments. He made it clear that there was no room for double games in the company and that any violation of trust would be severely punished. His speech was heartfelt and sincere. We are a team that believes in the future. But the future is impossible without trust and integrity. Today, I tell you, if someone tries to destroy our common work for their own gain, they will face consequences that will be more devastating than any errors in the code. These words evoked strong emotions among the employees. Some of them cried quietly, realizing that their team was under attack from within, while others, on the contrary, expressed their determination to fight for the purity and integrity of the project. The atmosphere became tense, as for the first time in a long time it was felt that each of those present stood up for the defense not only of their work, but also of the common future that they were building together. Over the next few hours, detailed interrogations, technical experiments, and analysis of the electronic traces left by the traitors were conducted. A team of specialists, united by a common goal, worked tirelessly to identify everyone involved in the conspiracy. Elon personally supervised the investigation, asking questions, peering into the faces of employees, trying to understand who among them could be involved in this betrayal. Each new fact, each new detail brought them closer to the truth, but at the same time threatened to destroy the atmosphere of trust that they had built over the years. Night fell on the technology campus, plunging it into a gloomy silence, broken only by the sounds of working servers and the quiet rustle of employees continuing their search for the truth. Meanwhile, Emily, one of the few who remained in the lab, continued to record changes in the system. She knew that every second was important, that not only the success of the mission, but also the fates of many people could depend on her observation. Her young voice, filled with determination and genuine faith in justice, became a symbol of resistance against the destructive forces of betrayal. As dawn began to break over the horizon, the offices were already greeting the new day with a sense of weariness, but also with hope for justice. Elon Musk, although shaken by the events that had taken place, felt that this night had become an important step in cleansing the company of internal poisons. His words, spoken that dark evening, sounded like a call for unity. We must move forward together, despite all the challenges. Only by uniting can we overcome betrayal and build a future in which our ideas live in purity and integrity. Thus ended this tragic but instructive day. The company's team, realizing the fragility of trust, began to restore broken ties, seek ways to reconcile, and find new strength to fight external and internal threats. And Elon, looking out the window of his office, knew that even more difficult tests awaited him ahead. But he was ready to accept them, because true innovation requires not only technology, but also courage and fortitude. Morning came with a light rain, washing away traces of the night's worries and filling the city with freshness after a long and dark night. In the tech campus located in the heart of Silicon Valley, employees were gradually recovering from the ordeal of the previous day. Although the atmosphere in the office remained tense, one could see sparks of hope and determination on people's faces, as if a new era was awakening after a long winter. Elon Musk, standing by the huge panoramic window of his office, watched the raindrops merge with the lights of the night city and reflected on how in the constant flow of change, even the deepest wounds can heal if people unite in the pursuit of a common goal. After the high-profile revelations and emotional meetings that followed the betrayal, the team decided to start the day with an open meeting in the main hall. This time, almost the entire management of the company was present, engineers, analysts, cybersecurity specialists, and even representatives of the legal department. The meeting was not held to discuss another crisis, but to restore lost connections, determine the direction of further action, and regain faith in the success of the joint venture. Elon, known for his ability to inspire and motivate, stood in front of the team and, in a soft but firm intonation, said, "Today we are about to begin not just a new day, but a new chapter in the history of our common journey. We have lived through trials that made us doubt ourselves, but also opened our eyes to the fact that it is our unity and mutual trust that are the basis of a real breakthrough. Our project is not just a set of algorithms and code, it is a dream embodied in reality, a dream that requires from us not only technological courage, but also human openness." These words penetrated everyone's hearts, and the atmosphere in the room was one where the desire to move forward, despite past grievances and doubts, seemed to prevail. Many employees, many of whom had previously been afraid of change, now felt the shadows of mistrust gradually disappear. It was decided that all internal processes would be reviewed, and the cybersecurity team would increase monitoring of systems to ensure that such incidents could no longer undermine the foundations of the company. It was at this point that Emily Wilson, young but incredibly wise and self-confident, approached Elon, becoming a symbol of hope and new ideas for the team. Her clear gaze and calm voice, like the embodiment of a fresh breath of change, reminded everyone that even in the most difficult situations, a spark of inspiration can be found. She said softly, "I believe that we can not only correct mistakes, but also emerge from this situation stronger than ever. Our success is in learning from mistakes and creating a better future together." Her words resonated even with those who had previously doubted the chosen path and served as a powerful incentive for further work. Over the next few hours, the team worked with renewed vigor. They worked together to analyze logs and electronic traces, discuss potential vulnerabilities, and implement new defenses for the system. The labs echoed with intense discussions where every detail mattered. One team of engineers, led by seasoned analyst Sophia Green, discovered that the code embedded in the system had specific characteristics that indicated it had been developed in close collaboration with external partners. This fact prompted management to review all contracts and establish stricter security standards. Elon, in turn, held a series of one-on-one meetings with key employees to personally ensure that everyone understood the responsibility and significance of each step. He listened carefully to engineers' stories about how they fixed vulnerabilities, how they overcame technical difficulties together with their colleagues, and even shared his memories of the first steps in their careers, when each new discovery was achieved with great effort. In one of these conversations, Elon turned to Alex Rivers, who until recently had doubts about the advisability of new methods. "Alex," Elon said, "your experience is invaluable to us. But now we must move forward, combining your knowledge and fresh ideas. Each of us has the potential to turn difficulties into opportunities." These words resonated with Alex, and his eyes shone with new confidence, as if old fears were giving way to determination to move forward. New initiatives began to emerge in the company's offices. An interdepartmental committee was created to develop a unified strategy for ensuring security and developing innovations. Each member of this committee was given the opportunity to contribute, from proposals for process optimization to the development of new methods for working with data. The meetings discussed not only technical details, but also issues of ethics, responsibility, and the importance of transparent interaction within the team. Such measures became a kind of antidote to the destructive forces that were trying to undermine trust within the team. One of the most memorable moments came during a demonstration of a new software module, developed based on ideas originally proposed by Emily. This module allowed real-time monitoring of changes in the system and automatic adjustments to algorithms in the event of anomalies. During the presentation, held in the company's main hall, employees watched with bated breath as the system flawlessly responded to simulated threats. The test results exceeded all expectations. The probability of an error was reduced to critically low levels, and the system's response became almost instantaneous. The applause that followed the demonstration became a symbol not only of technological success, but also of the revival of team spirit. However, personal dramas remained amid these successes. Each employee who had lived through a period of mistrust and doubt understood that there were still many difficulties to overcome. In personal conversations at informal meetings, people shared their experiences, stories about past experiences and hopes for the future. In one such conversation, which took place in a cozy corner of the office lounge, a young engineer Dan told how his faith in science and innovation had almost faded after an unsuccessful project at a previous company. But now he felt that it was here that he was finding new life and new meaning. His words, filled with sincerity and gratitude, touched many, reminding that every challenge is an opportunity for growth and transformation. In the evening, Elon Musk held a personal meeting with representatives from all departments to sum up the day and discuss plans for the future. This time, the atmosphere was full of not only responsibility, but also hope. Everyone present understood that their team had gone through not just a crisis, but a moment when trust and unity became the main values capable of overcoming any difficulties. Elon, looking at those gathered, said, "Today we have proven that our strength is in unity. Let past mistakes become a lesson, and new challenges, an incentive for improvement. We must believe in our common future, and together we can overcome any obstacles." These words became the final call to unity for the team. People left the room discussing plans, sharing ideas, and no longer thinking about the betrayal that had darkened their recent past. Smiles appeared on the faces of the employees, and their eyes reflected determination and faith in the ability to create something great. New experiments, new discussions, and new challenges began in the labs and offices, but now they were all built on a solid foundation of mutual trust and shared values. As evening fell on campus, Elon found himself alone again in his office. He sat at his desk, staring out at the shimmering city, and contemplated the journey ahead. He knew there would be new challenges, new technological challenges, and perhaps new betrayals. But he knew now that a team united by a shared vision and mutual respect could overcome any challenge. A spark of hope was rekindled in his heart, a spark that promised that every morning would be a wake-up call, and every challenge would be a new opportunity to grow. So, on that rainy evening filled with reflection and new plans, the company's team regained confidence in its abilities. Internal wounds began to heal, and the trust reawakened through joint efforts and common goals became the cement that held them together. Emily, Elon, Alex, Sophia, and every employee understood that their mission was not only a technological breakthrough, but also the creation of an environment where honesty, openness, and mutual support would become the basis for future achievements. A new day brought fresh light and an atmosphere of determination to the campus located in the heart of Silicon Valley. The past trials, experienced together by the team led by Elon Musk, left an indelible mark on the hearts of all employees. But it was in these morning hours, when the first rays of the sun began to break through the clouds, that an extraordinary energy of renewal and faith in the future was felt. Each drop of dew on the windows of the offices seemed to symbolize a new opportunity, and the quiet murmur of the wind, a call to action capable of overcoming any obstacles. Against the backdrop of recent crises and internal upheavals, the company's team managed not only to restore lost trust, but also to reach a fundamentally new level of development. Elon Musk, accustomed to risk and constant change, saw in this team not just a group of engineers and analysts, but true comrades capable of revolutionizing the idea of the future of aerospace technologies. His gaze, filled with wisdom and confidence, was directed at the future, where every idea and every effort could become a decisive contribution to the creation of a better world. On this decisive day, the company's management decided to announce the launch of a revolutionary project that was supposed to change the rules of the game in the space exploration market. The new interplanetary ship, called Pioneer Nova, was conceived as a platform for deep space exploration and testing of advanced technologies. The task set before the team was not only to improve navigation systems and algorithms, but also to create an entirely new flight control architecture capable of adapting to the most extreme conditions. The project was based on ideas developed during previous crises, when every mistake turned into a lesson and every victory a step towards a new frontier. The morning meeting, which took place in the main conference room, was attended by almost the entire management of the company, as well as invited experts from leading scientific institutions and academic centers. The atmosphere was filled with solemnity and anticipation of a great achievement. Elon addressed the audience. His voice sounded loud and confident, cutting through the silence of the hall. Today we are entering a new era. Our project is not just a technical development. It is our common vision of the future. We are building a platform that will allow humanity to go beyond known boundaries and open new horizons of research. Each of you is a part of this great mission, and together we can achieve unprecedented heights. These words left a deep impression on the audience, causing a storm of applause and genuine emotions. The faces of those present reflected not only determination, but also a deep belief in the possibility of change. Behind the scenes, the final preparations could be heard. Engineers were assembling the last samples of parts. Specialists were conducting final tests of safety systems, and analysts were checking the latest simulation models. The labs were in full swing, and each employee knew that not only the success of the project, but also the future of the entire industry depended on their joint efforts. Emily Wilson, whose confidence and youthful talent have already become legendary within the company, was once again in the spotlight. Her gaze was fixed on the future, and her voice was filled with determination. I believe that every challenge we have gone through has prepared us for this moment. Our mistakes have taught us to be stronger, and our victories have taught us to move forward. Today we will prove that even the wildest dreams can become reality if we work together. Her words, spoken at the same moment, seemed to resonate with the pulse of innovation, and an atmosphere of deep unity and mutual understanding reigned in the room. Following the ceremonial meeting, the team moved on to the final phase of preparations for the launch of Pioneer Nova. In a huge hangar, where technical installations shone under bright lights, engineers and scientists carried out final checks. Every detail of the ship, from the cooling system to the complex control algorithms, was subjected to careful analysis. New modules, developed on the basis of previous experiments, demonstrated exceptional stability and the ability to adapt to any changes in the external environment. All this work was the culmination of many months of effort that brought not only a technical breakthrough, but also a profound rethinking of approaches to innovation. Elon personally oversaw the preparations for the launch, stopping periodically to ask clarifying questions and discuss nuances with key specialists. His attentive attitude and personal involvement inspired the team, creating an atmosphere in which everyone felt important. He repeatedly reminded that every little thing matters, and that only through joint efforts can true success be achieved. His words and actions became a symbol of leadership based on trust, respect for experience, and faith in the team's limitless potential. Ahead of the launch, a final meeting was held to discuss all aspects of the upcoming mission. The experts presented the results of the latest tests, confirming that the new system architecture is capable of ensuring a stable flight even in extreme temperatures and high overloads. The results of the simulations and tests exceeded all expectations. The system's response time was reduced to record levels, and the level of safety reached new heights. Every word spoken at this meeting was filled with meaning and a deep conviction that the team is ready to meet any unforeseen situation. The decisive moment had arrived. All the employees and invited guests had moved into the Launch Control Center, where huge screens displayed real-time data. A tense silence hung in the air, broken only by the soft hum of the instruments and the rhythmic sound of the servers processing huge amounts of information. Elon, standing at the control panel, contained his excitement, knowing that the future of not only the company, but the entire aerospace industry depended on the successful launch of Pioneer Nova. As the countdown began, all eyes were on the screen. Every employee, from the junior engineer to the department manager, felt time slowing down and their hearts beating in time with the upcoming historic event. And then, when the final numbers merged into a single word, start, the system came to life. The ship's powerful engines roared, and the lights on the launch pad flashed brightly, marking the beginning of a new era in the history of space exploration. Applause, joyful shouts, and enthusiastic exclamations filled the control center as Pioneer Nova confidently rose into the sky, breaking through the clouds and rushing into endless space. This moment was the culmination of months of work, trials, betrayal, and restoration of trust. It symbolized the victory not only of technical genius, but also of the human spirit, which can overcome any obstacle if hearts are united by a common goal. The team that had gone through the trials found the strength not only to correct the mistakes of the past, but also to go beyond the familiar, opening up new horizons. Elon Musk, looking at the launch pad with an expression of deep pride, understood that their mission was just beginning. There were still many tests, new ideas, and unexpected discoveries ahead. In the hours following the launch, a new phase of work began, where each employee felt involved in a great achievement. Lively discussions were heard in the labs and offices, in which scientific hypotheses, personal ambitions, and dreams for the future intersected. The Pioneer Nova project became not just a technical achievement, but a symbol of the fact that innovation and joint efforts can overcome any crisis. Meetings, seminars, and training programs initiated by the company's management allowed not only to improve technologies, but also to educate a new generation of talented specialists ready to continue the work started today. At sunset on this fateful day, when the sun gradually gave way to the evening lights of the big city, the team gathered for an informal meeting in a spacious hall of the campus. Here, over cups of hot coffee and light snacks, people shared their impressions, dreams, and plans for the future. Each told how the difficulties and trials they had experienced changed their inner world, how trust and confidence in the fact that together they can move mountains were strengthened. Voices sounded sincere, and looks were full of determination and inspiration. Elon, having completed the official cycle of meetings, approached a small table where Emily Wilson, who had already become a symbol of a new generation, was sitting. He smiled softly and said, "Today we have proven that the wildest dreams can become reality if we are not afraid to change and work together. Let our success be only the beginning of a great journey that will lead us to new frontiers and discoveries." Emily nodded, her gaze shining with gratitude and confidence, reflecting the energy that was born in the hearts of everyone present. Thus, the era of trials and betrayal ended, giving way to a new stage, a stage of growth, unity, and striving for the stars. The history of the team, united by common ideals, became a vivid example of how even the deepest wounds can heal if people are ready to support each other and move forward. Each of the employees, who went through fire and water, understood that the future belongs to those who are not afraid to dream, take risks, and believe in the power of collective intelligence. From that day on, Pioneer Nova became a symbol of rebirth, and the company became a place where innovation, honesty, and mutual trust became the basis for great achievements. In this new world, where the boundaries of the possible are blurred, Elon Musk and his team are ready to set off again, paving the way into the unknown, where each new launch is a step towards the future that millions dream of.